Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Journey into Comics, a podcast about comic books, video games, movies, television, and everything nerd with your hosts, Nate Phillips and Brandon Stone.
You're gonna see some serious shit.
Hey everybody, welcome to Journey into Comics. I'm your host, Nate Phillips. Today I'm with no one. Let's just fucking get down to it. Past weekend, I went up to Chicago, stayed at Sarah's sister's place while they were out venturing in Pennsylvania. Sarah and I used GrubHub. This fucking app is super cool if you've never heard of GrubHub. What you do is you put in your location, and then up pops a bunch of restaurants in your area that will deliver around you to you, okay? So you go on GrubHub, you can find whatever you want to eat. You can do it by rating, by what kind of food you want, by the name of the restaurant. There's tons of different ways. You can just search randomly. It's great. So we find this sushi place, Hello Sushi. I love sushi. Being a foodie, it's one of my favorites. Like, I don't ever get sick of it. Someone could say, hey, do you want to go to sushi? Yes, every time I would love to go to sushi. Like every time. Like, it wins. It literally wins every time. Like, I can't think of a time where it wouldn't win. So we order sushi, and we got this thing called the 911 roll. The cool thing was that Grubhub told us that the location that we were ordering from was actually only 1/10 of a mile away from Sarah's sister's apartment. So we just walked there, which was super convenient. Got our nice, delicious sushi, came back. We got this thing, the 911 roll, and as I was saying, it was really tasty and flavorful and hot, and had like jalapenos and spicy chipotle mayo, like all these different great flavors and textures going on. It was so tasty. It was so great. We chowed down on that, and it was really an excellent meal. And we hung out for a little bit, and we're just chilling, watching stuff or whatever. And one of our friends said, hey, I'm in the city. Do you want to come hang out for like an hour or something? Just visit a little bit, whatever. I said, yeah, sure, man. We'll go over. And Sarah was kind of like, I'm in my pajamas already, man. You can go. No worries, And I'm like, all right, cool. I'll go for a little bit. So I went over to my buddy's house. We sat and caught up a little bit and, kind of the same old stuff or whatever. And then I journeyed back, and that was kind of fun. I got to walk through the city alone at night. It was an interesting journey, just the world is definitely a different place. And you can never be too sure, I guess, is the way to kind of say that, right? So next day, get up, get ready. It's time to go see Ant-Man, and I'm so excited. So we go to this movie theater, and we walk in, we pay, it's $12. We go, we sit down. We're the only ones in the theater. The movie starts in 12 minutes. We're hanging out. I have to pee. I run in and take a leak. Come back. There's still no one in the theater. There's 2 minutes till the movie starts. There's still no one in the theater. There's 30 seconds and someone finally walks in, and we're like, oh, weird. And then the previews have just started. So I'm looking, and I'm like, there's something really fucking weird about the screen. Like, it's really short, and I don't think we're seeing the whole picture. Like, something's off here. And I couldn't place it. I'm like, something's not right, And during the Batman v Superman trailer that they were playing, I ran and told them, I said, hey, something's wrong with the screen for Ant-Man. Like, I don't know what's going on, but in theater 4, something's weird. So then the trailers are still rolling. This dude walks in, walks over, he's fiddling with the screen. The screen rolls completely out. It wasn't rolled all the way down. They had rolled it up for, cleaning purposes or whatever. So then you're like, oh, holy shit, the screen's huge. Like, it's gigantic. This is great. It's going to be a fun time. So we're getting ready to start the movie. The movie begins. Now, for anybody who's seen the movie, it opens in 89. Michael Douglas is very young looking, which was really cool to see. He's talking with various members of S.H.I.E.L.D. and otherwise. And he's arguing about, with Tony Stark's father, like, what's going on, Well, it got to, like, right in kind of the thick of that story, and the movie just stopped. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, first the screen's not all the way down, and now the movie just stopped? Like, what the hell? Then the movie starts again, and this lady, I all of a sudden hear this lady go, "Cool, they fixed it." And I was like, it was fucking fixed, man. Why are we having to watch this a whole second time? Which was cool. You're going to kind of pay attention more to the dialogue and whatnot, and kind of see that Stark doesn't want the Pym particles to get in the wrong hands. He doesn't want it weaponized, because of course not. He's a scientist. Fucking humanitarian. Let's get down to what I thought about this movie, though. Really, going into this, I was like, man, Marvel has an extreme task ahead of them. This is, although a founding member of the Avengers and just a great concept for a character, he's not one of the best-known superheroes, Ant-Man. So they really had to sell it to an audience that I really wasn't sure would give a fuck. Like the hardcore comic book fan, yeah, but there were people who I never expected to ever go see Guardians of the Galaxy that talk about that movie and rave about how good it is, and you're just like, what? You fucking saw Guardians? Fuck yeah, that's awesome, dude. High five, and shit. So for this movie, Ant-Man, I'm like, man, they got a fucking hill to climb, I really enjoyed it. I honestly did. I thought it was a fun movie. I loved how they did the shrinking. Scott Lang, Paul Rudd's character was phenomenal. Michael Pena's character, Lewis, was definitely, as the early reviews said, it was definitely a show stealer. But man, that movie was good. It had comedy and it had seriousness, and I loved the heist aspect. It's definitely like Marvel is now going, okay, give us weird genre. Okay, this. Okay, now give us a different kind of theme. Okay, take this. And they're mixing these things very nicely, like comedic heist, and it worked very nicely. And the one thing I guess I will complain about, and I think this has kind of been everyone's complaint, is that Yellow Jacket, although quote unquote sinister, was kind of just a little bitch. Like, he really wasn't a menacing, oh my god, this is the worst thing. Like, in movies, if I can suspend my disbelief for a second and get caught in the moment and go, oh fuck, they're not going to save the day, the superhero's not going to save the day, that's when I'm like, yes, this is great. Unfortunately, Ant-Man didn't do that. I didn't get that point, because the villain, although, like I said, sinister and crazy, I don't know that, I think his name's Corey Stoll, he was not necessarily believable as a major villain, and you kind of knew that was the plan. Like, from the first 10 seconds of the movie, you kind of knew that's how the movie played out. Like, that someone wanted the Pym particles, and, well, if we can't fucking have them, we'll just try to recreate them ourselves. And then, guy corrupt with power does the Green Goblin thing, in my opinion. That's kind of one thing I noticed. And, self-testing. And then, he goes crazy. And then he gets bug zapped. That was kind of cool. I thought that was interesting. This movie had a lot of great visuals, from The first time Scott shrinks down, every time that they went into, when he went and shrunk to being the Ant-Man, the visuals were extremely excellent, and although definitely CGI'd, extraordinary, like I said, just extraordinary visuals. From the bathtub scene where he's running from the water and the water throws him out to, the going to destroy all the cross particles. I can't say that that's a spoiler. I'm trying to avoid spoilers on this episode, folks, because I don't want to go back and be like, rewind your thing or fast forward your things to blah 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 time. I don't want to do that. I don't want to make you fucking have to jump through part of the episode. That's ridiculous. I'm just going to give you the generalities of the movie and tell you that if you haven't seen it, I would definitely try to give Ant-Man a chance and definitely go see it in theaters. It was definitely a great experience just seeing such a small world in such a large scale, and I really, really, really want to hopefully in the next weekend or two go see it in 3D IMAX and experience that way, because I think that'd be really fun to see as well. Great movie. The post credits were both very, 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 very big statements on what Marvel wants to do. I want to talk about it so bad and talk about there's something that debuts and we get to see a very early prototype of something really fucking awesome. And then there's a couple surprise cameos at the very, very end that I was not expecting, and luckily for myself, I saved myself from any spoilers and avoided reading anything. So I went into Ant-Man completely blind and had no idea how the plot would actually play out. Sometimes for some dumb reason I go and click those things and read them, and I'm just like, oh, well, I know how the movie goes now. But then it makes me like, man, I'm really excited to actually see that play out. That sounds like a great concept usually. So yeah, I would say Ant-Man's like an 8.5 out of 10 if I were to rate it, honestly. It did everything right, and it really didn't do anything wrong, but it just didn't. I mean, it packed a small punch. I mean, no pun intended, I guess. So yeah, I thought Ant-Man was great. I'm really, really, really excited because I don't know if anybody who's listening collects the Marvel Collector Core, but this is a Funko exclusive box. We covered it a long time ago on the show. It's a Marvel exclusive box in conjunction with Funko. They're released bi-monthly for $25 bi-monthly, so you get 6 boxes a year. And there's guaranteed one exclusive pop vinyl in every box, right? So, the last box, right? We knew it Ant-Man themed. The first box was Age of Ultron themed, so it was kind of cool because then it was 2 movies. They did 2 exclusive pops one from each movie. The first Collector Core had the heavy ass Hulkbuster pop. The thing weighs like 3 pounds. It's ridiculous. And then this past month, we knew it was Ant-Man, and everyone's like, oh, what do you think the pop's going to be? And I said probably like 20 to 30 times. I was like, seriously, if it's not a micro pop of Ant-Man, like super, super, super tiny, I'm going to be sorely disappointed, because that's a missed opportunity, very clearly. And what did we get? Lo and behold, we got an unmasked Ant-Man with the tiniest Funko Pop ever, a micro Ant-Man pop, which is really cool. Now, real quick to touch on. I'm sorry, my fucking cat, man. She does this shit where she thinks that right now, because I've got the microphone, is her time to come and try to jump on me. And it's like, man, I love you, kitten, seriously, but you just calm your tits down. Thank you. Okay. So anyways, so real quick to touch on Collector Core for like one last second here. The next box that's coming out is Secret Wars. Now, one thing I'll say is while it is Secret Wars, Lady Thor's head is on the top of the box. So as always, there's this great speculation of what's the pop going to be? You know, what pop vinyl are we going to get that's going to be exclusive? And a lot of people are guessing it's a comic book version of Jane Foster's Thor. I think that'd be cool. That'd be super neat. I would love to have that in my collection. No questions. However, there was a photograph that was leaked during San Diego Comic-Con. I didn't get to touch on this on the last episode. That said MCC, parentheses, Secret Wars, parentheses, August. And then it said Miles Morales Pop. So if you know anything about Pops, if you're a Pop collector, get in on the game, because that will be a sick Pop vinyl to have if that is in fact the case. We've already got Black Suit Spider-Man, Spider-Man 2099, and two different movie versions of Spider-Man, both the Andrew Garfield era Spider-Man and then a regular comic Spider-Man. So to have Miles Morales, I think, would be really totally kick-ass, and I'm really hoping that they do that. Man, there's so many things to talk about. Like, life is dark, and things suck sometimes, you know? Things don't always go the way we plan for them to go. And I'm just kind of here to maybe give a word of encouragement to anyone who may be going through some shit right now, okay? So I'm just going to talk for a few minutes, and these are my thoughts. We can't be held down forever, okay? We cannot allow ourselves to think that in the moment of darkness that seems to be the worst place we've ever been, that that's the end of our journey. Because ultimately, that's just the beginning. And I know I'm getting deep here, and we're kind of skewing away from comic books, but I just want to touch on being real for a fucking second, you know, and make sure that the people that are listening to this show appreciate us and appreciate that we aren't just trying to feed them the possibilities of what's happening in comic books and video games. While those conversations are fun, it's about community and being a togetherness, you know, the nerddom. And nerds are a very, very special group of people because we've all got to watch each other's backs. And sometimes we forget that. We really do. And, you know, just don't forget that, man. If you're a nerd, sharing with your fellow nerd, man. And take care of each other and be awesome to each other. Because, like, life is really short. Like, it is excruciatingly short, you know. We just found there's a planet that's just like Earth, billions of light years away. We're like the ghost of a speck of dust, you know, that's been obliterated. We're that tiny in this gigantic thing, you know. But what I'm trying to say is, in this world, in this life, there's one thing that you always need to strive to do. And that's do what you believe will make you happy. No excuses, no ifs, ands, or buts, no questions. If you're doing something in your life that doesn't make you happy, stop doing it. Stop hurting yourself, stop hurting others. Find something that you truly and genuinely, passionately love to do. Whether it be playing music, podcasting, collecting comics, collecting fucking toys, you know, having children and taking care of them, babysitting pets. You could do anything. You could be an artist. You could fucking be a journalist and write newspapers, you know? You could be anything you want, man. Just don't think that the dark times that you're going through, do not think that's the end, because it's never the end until it is, you know? And you have to realize that there's bad fucking people in this world, and you just have to do your fucking damnedest to surround yourself with the best kind of people. And I feel like I'm very blessed in that department. I feel like the people that I associate myself with are my support. They're my family. They're my team. I could call upon any one of them and they would be there in a heartbeat. And to them and to all of you that are here listening to this right now. I mean, this is a fucking deep ass thing I'm saying right now. And you're listening to what I'm saying. But I appreciate it. I appreciate all the love and support that all the people that I'm around give me. Because without that, I would have nothing, you know? And that is the darkest time. But I'm never alone, so that's why I know that dark times can't last. Now, in closing of this, I just want to say that the world is just a crazy place. You know, we've had a lot of crazy shit in the news, dark things in the news, and we don't really cover those kind of things. But real quick, here are some headlines that really fucking bother me. Apparently, there was a gunman in Lafayette, Louisiana, that went into a movie, killed 2 people, and then killed himself. What the fuck? Like, what in the actual fuck, man? Why would you do that? Like, I'm sorry, and I'm probably going to piss people off right now, but I have to speak my fucking heart right now. Gun laws in this country are fucking flawed, and until they are fixed, point fucking blank, until those laws are fixed, senseless acts of murder are going to continue to happen again and again and again and again and again. And fucking mass media is going to profit from that shit again and again and again and again. It's a vicious cycle, man. The country we live in is essentially fucked. If you're in America listening to this, if you're not, that's another thing I want to say. Tangent City, hey, can we do that? Lighten the mood a little bit, right? Can I just say for a second, we get plays from, like, I was checking our Podbean and you can see the geography of where plays have come through. We've had plays from all over the fucking place, and I want to reach out to anybody who may be in those places listening and just say, hey, what the fuck is up? Awesome that you're checking out Journey into Comics, whatever country you're in. If you have Facebook or any of those outlets, send us a shout out, man. We will shout you the fuck out for being an amazing person listening to us all the way around the globe. Thanks to any of you, seriously. That's super cool. So, you know, I'm just going on here for however long. I might only do an hour. I don't know. I don't have a ton of things to talk about. I do want to talk about real quick. I don't know if you guys saw this. Allegedly, the Russo brothers created a new Twitter account, and when they did so, they released like super close-up pictures of stuff from Civil War, possibly. And like one of the shots was allegedly what they're claiming could be like Spider-Man's eyes, and it's kind of almost like a noir goggle, you know, kind of like a, I don't know, like almost looks like kind of like goggles, like old school steampunk goggles. You know what the fuck I'm talking about. And like they're saying that could be a way that they can use that to show emotion in Parker's face as Spider-Man. You know, in the comics they can draw his eyes with inflection, even though in a actual costume it wouldn't do how it does, you know, kind of like Rorschach's face, which we'll be talking about. Oh wow, yeah, we'll be talking about The Watchmen shortly, huh? We said we were going to do that for the next comic club. Hopefully you guys have been checking out the comic clubs. There's we did Hush. We were talking about the Batman story Hush, which is great. We had Seek and Shuddy Boy on. It was awesome. And then on the first comic club, we talked about Secret Wars, again with Shuddy, Brando, and I. It was a great time. And the next time we do it, we're going to do The Watchmen with the 4 of us. And then the time after that, I think we're doing Kraven's Last Hunt, which should be great. I guess now's a good time, as ever. I'm all over the place with tangents today. That's a very loose episode. Like I said, I'm getting back to my roots of I'm just riffing, you know, and I'm just going to say what I feel and feel what I say. So, here's what I've got. Brandon worked really hard with me on something, and while I don't like how I filmed it, I guess. That sounds really wrong, huh? Anyways, I filmed this video, and it's on YouTube now, and it's the first episode of Pop Talk. I'm going to be talking about my collection, and I'm kind of doing it because it's an interesting thing to talk about. There's a lot to talk about with pop vinyls, you know. Every pop has a crazy story, whether it's how I got it, whether it's how it's on the market, whether it's a limited edition or an exclusive or a misprint or whatever. Pops are interesting, I guess. I love the multitude of characters. They just, you know, any character you can think of, they'll probably have a pop at some point of that character. Fucking Clockwork Orange when I want one so bad. Ugh. I could essentially trade my entire Star Wars pop set for that pop, but I would never do that. That would be stupid. Anyways, so here's something we haven't really talked about in quite a long time on this show. Well, I guess maybe we did a little bit, but anyways, on Wednesday, I finally got home from work, and it was a long day, and I was like, man, what am I going to do? So I said, all right, why don't I watch WWE Battleground, you know? So I sat down to watch it. I watched like a quarter of it, and I was like, you know, let's go lay down. I'm tired. I fell asleep. Fuck. So the next day, got up, went to work, came home, sat down. I'm going to fucking watch it now. Okay. Start watching it. I get all the way through it. I'm in the zone, just finished dinner. You know, I'm feeling awesome. And I want to talk first about the bullshit booking of John Cena versus Kevin Owens. Now, if you do watch wrestling, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You would know that Kevin Owens is this up-and-coming guy. He's a young guy. He's from Canada. He used to be Kevin Steen. He is a bigger dude, but he is the most agile motherfucker I've ever seen. He's the best on the microphone, and he's just a hard fucking worker. End of story. He was in NXT, kicking ass, taking names, you know, doing his thing down there. And they brought him up to the main roster to feud with Cena. They've had 2 matches leading up to the match at Battleground. Kevin Owens won the first one. Cena won the second one. Here we are, third one, the rubber match, if you will. For the United States Championship, no less. The match is back and forth. There's a lot of great spots. John Cena does a new move that was pretty cool. Kevin Owens hit a couple awesome pop-up power bombs, one from the top rope. Like, the match was just brutal. It was a great, brutal match. And I was all for the match until John Cena wins by submission. Now, what reason would I be pissed that John Cena winning by submission would piss me off? What's the reason? Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. You've got a hard worker like Kevin Owens. He's a younger talent. He's very fucking talented, and he could take that company places, okay? Because he makes people want to watch. I want to watch because he's on that show, you know, and I usually don't really get into wrestling that much right now. Like, I've kind of kept my distance because it's not been that great recently. So, Kevin Owens loses by tap out. Why does this piss me off? He's a young talent, like I've said. He deserved to essentially take the brass ring from Cena. And I don't like that they did not give him the win. I think that was a very bullshit call. I feel like, maybe John Cena and Vince McMahon have some kind of behind the scenes, some sort of love affair with each other. Because it seems like every time it makes sense for Cena to lose, and it makes sense for them to create a new star. Bray Wyatt, Dolph Ziggler, fucking Kevin Owens. You know, you could name a ton of Daniel Bryan. The list goes on and on and on. You know, they fucking keep putting Cena over. I'm so sick of John Cena, man. Like, why the fuck is John Cena always winning? It's annoying, you know. Oh, and then he loses a title to gain another title. No, you should have put the U.S. title on Kevin Owens. Had him be a top heel with a secondary title, and then have Seth Rollins the top heel with the main title, you know. But I digress. I just think it was poor booking. It's bullshit. The match was great. I give it to them. They put on a hell of a 3 matches. Those 3 matches are definitely... It's a great trilogy for sure. And I'd like to see them maybe go a 4th to 5th. Who knows? We don't know what they're going to do. But I'm sick of John Cena winning. It doesn't make a damn lick of sense to me. There was a Divas match. That was all right. Charlotte won with the figure 8, I do believe she calls it, which is she does the figure 4 and then she does a back bend, which is pretty awesome. She beat Brie Bella and Sasha Banks, I think. Or was it Naomi? I don't remember. I'm sorry, whoever was the third one in that match. I know it wasn't Tamika. But anyways, the main event, Lesnar-Rollins. What did you expect was going to happen? Brock Lesnar walked all over Seth Rollins. How many suplexes did Seth Rollins receive, you ask? Well, I'm going to tell you in a second, but let me just say that while Seth Rollins got a little bit of offense in, we got to see Brock Lesnar just do what Brock Lesnar's been doing since he dominated John Cena and since he dominated The Undertaker. I mean, he's just on a warpath of destruction. Whoever they put in his way, he demolishes them in roughshod fashion. Roman Reigns is the closest thing to being the man that could have beat the Beast. But sometimes things don't play out that way. So there may be some noise here. I'm not sure how this is going to work, but I'm going to play for you the ending and what literally, folks, I'm sitting watching Battleground, and a moment happened, and the hair on my arm stood up, and I could not catch my breath because something super fucking epic happens, and I'm just going to let the match do the talking for a minute here.
In a rebellious side.
Did he just slap
Yes.
Brock Lesnar? Oh, does he have a death wish or something? Whoa!
That would be yes.
How many's that now?
13. Unlucky 13.
And now going for the F5
I
and
think
looking to
we're
put
about to
Seth
see a new
Rollins
WWE
away.
World Heavyweight
F5.
Champion. This is
Lesnar
it.
to win the championship. Cover. Oh my God! What? The Deadman has risen!
And just like that, The Undertaker is back in the WWE. Now, he was on a bit of a hiatus. He has, people continuously saying, oh man, it's time for The Undertaker to hang up the boots. It's time for The Undertaker to retire. And here we get Brock Lesnar getting ready to win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. And without any foreknowledge that this could even be a possibility, zero people were calling this or expecting this to happen. Brock Lesnar, 1, 2, Undertaker gong, Undertaker in the ring. Undertaker goes ba-fucking-listic, beating the ever-loving shit out of Brock Lesnar, hitting him with choke slams and tombstone pile drivers. It was awesome. And here's the beautiful thing, and the greatest thing, is that this is a feud. They had zero things to do to build it. The stage was already set. All they had to do was put the ball in motion. And as soon as they did, I was like, that's a smart wrestling decision, you know. Brandon and I are definitely very critical of WWE and how their product has waned over the years and become definitely not the strongest force. But, you know, it seems that they're maybe starting to get their shit together a little bit. So, you know, you don't, like I said, you don't have to do anything for this feud. It's already set up. Taker's pissed. He lost at Mania. Brock beat the streak. Brock literally has had Heyman bragging about the streak being beaten for 15 months, you know, 2 WrestleManias ago, WrestleMania 30, right? So Brock has it coming to him, and it's cool because Taker looks in great shape, and I think Taker is not the Taker that lost at WrestleMania 30. This guy is someone who is determined, and he's going to make a run for a while. He may not be a champion again, and that's fine, but he's definitely in shape and trying to prove his relevance, and he's definitely doing so. A bone-chilling moment for wrestling fans. I was so not expecting it, as I said. And then on Monday Night Raw, Undertaker opens up Raw, which is a rare thing. Taker's never was really a huge Raw star once the brand separation happened. That's really nerdy to say, like talking about it like that, huh? Like, hey, I'm a super nerd and I know everything about wrestling. But I do, you know, it's just, wrestling is so awesome. But Taker comes out on Raw and says, you know, I'm not a dead man anymore. I'm the Grim Reaper, and I have no emotion, and I feel no fear, and I only have one goal, and it's your total and utter annihilation, Brock. And I'm coming for you, and you cannot stop me, and you will not stop me. And how dare you take something as sacred as the streak and try to use it to make yourself look like something you're not when you know you got lucky. And I thought that was a very, very great moment in wrestling. Undertaker making his appearance on Raw. And then apparently, I didn't get a chance to watch Raw yet this week. I just saw the opening with Taker. But apparently, Lesnar and Taker were brawling backstage, whether that was staged or real. I do know there is some animosity between Taker and Lesnar, and has always been. You know, it's interesting because Taker's looking like he still definitely has it, and he was calling what to do. I mean, he's still, you know, top dog on his A game. Man. Ooh, got some news. Hey, guys, late breaking news. Remember earlier in the show I was talking about how there were some pictures of the Russo brothers' Twitter account posting stuff from allegedly from Civil War. Apparently, James Gunn has debunked that account. I'm getting ready to scroll through, and James Gunn wrote on his Twitter, "It's not Marvel Russo Bros. According to Joe, they don't have a Twitter, nor will they ever." So he got word direct from the horse's mouths and went straight to the source. So those pictures are sadly fake, and kind of good fake, because I don't know if I would have been cool with Spider-Man having goggle eyes. It's kind of weird. It's just strange. We are getting closer to the 3-week drop date that Ryan Reynolds said we'd be getting something special for Deadpool. So let's hope that's happening. But I want to cover one really sketchy topic, and man, this is just there's no good way to cover it. But I'm just gonna do my best. So the wrestling world is ablaze right now. Hulk Hogan has been fired without question from the WWE. He's gone. They are done with him. All of his stuff has been removed from the Shop Zone. Like, not looking good, sports fans. Now, why did they cut ties with the immortal Hulk Hogan? He's a racist motherfucker. That's why. Wow. I haven't heard they have not, like, released the audio, but there's transcript of the audio, and he drops the N-bomb like 6 times full on, you know, and talking about Brooke and her fucking black dudes. Like, man, you know, it's just, to me, it's like, Hulk Hogan, what are you thinking? Is this retribution for what Booker T said way back in the WCW days? Like, Booker T was a hood motherfucker in wrestling. Legit. And he was not a happy guy. And when he cut that promo, he dropped an N-bomb on you. And what, now you can't forgive him, so you're just dropping N-bombs like that, dude? Hulk Hogan, you made enemies, dude. Like, legit enemies. Like, you're a stupid old man. And I don't get it, you know? Like, what's... Everyone's childhood stars become these fucking psychopaths. Look at Bill Cosby. You know, look at now Hulk Hogan. Look at all these different fucking guys who, you know, they were these great talents of their day, and they lose their fucking mind, man. And they do and say just insane shit. You know, everybody has a, you know, some kind of thing they truly dislike and they get really nasty about. But, you know, most people are tactful. And, you know, I would hope that most people have common sense to not be like, you know, like a negative person. You know, if I don't like, for example, if I don't like eating mangoes, okay, and I love eating mangoes, let's just get that straight. I had a mango last night that was absolutely delicious. But let's say I'm a guy that absolutely hates mangoes. I don't have to go bash every person that likes mangoes. It's my opinion that mangoes do not taste delicious, which isn't really my opinion, but you get my opinion. You know, that's like beets. I don't like fucking beets, but I'm not going to go yell and scream and say obscenities at people because they're, you know, they're eating beets. I don't think I know anybody. Do you eat beets? Does anybody eat beets? I don't think anyone eats beets. I think they're just a myth. Beets are a myth. If you eat beets, let us know. That'd be interesting to have you on and talk about your beet eating. Man, that sounds so weird. So yeah, I don't know what else to talk about, folks. Like, there's Walking Dead has been phenomenal. We're waiting for issue 145 to come out. Blood for Blood. They just officially released the in the Pop Vinyl game. There are these things called glam shots, and that's the nice, high-quality shot of what the Pop Vinyl is going to look like out of the box with the box next to it, so you can get an idea of what the figure is actually going to look like. And they released this morning, I do believe, the glam shots for the Arkham Knight Pop Vinyls that are coming out. That's Batman, the Arkham Knight, Harley Quinn, and Scarecrow, and they look pretty cool. They are numbers 71, 72, 73, and 74 in the series. You can pre-order them at GameStop. Cheap plug for GameStop. I like GameStop, and the fact that you can pre-order certain pops, because that means that, you know, you can just pay $5 now and then pay $5 when they come out, and it's not 10, 20, 30, 40. You know, you collect a series, you can take your time and put $5 down on each figure over the course of a few months, and then put $5 down for them to be paid off over the course of a few months, and then boom, you've got cheaper pop vinyls. They don't break your bank all at once. It's economical spending. I love GameStop for that effect. Man, you know, I'm trying to think. There's just, like, I don't know. There's not a whole lot to talk about in news lately. Arrow and Flash are filming. Stephen Amell is definitely yelling and screaming and hollering Green Arrow this season. GreenArrow, Green Arrow. You know, that's the show now. And that they're getting back to the roots of the comics, which I think is excellent. And I'm very excited to see how this story for Arrow evolves this year, as well as the story for the Flash this year. You know, pretty much every major character coming back this year on the show except for Rick Cosnett's Eddie, which met his spoiler alert. Anyways, so they've officially said Zoom is the big bad this season. So Professor Zoom is still Reverse Flash. Don't forget it. He might look a little different, or he might look exactly the same. Who knows? I think it'd be awesome if he looked different and more close to what the current comic book Professor Zoom looks like, with the crazier looking suit. I really dig that. Plus, that'd make for really neat pop vinyl. So we've also got confirmed that Jay Garrick is going to be on the show this year. So we're going to be dealing with Earth 2. That's really exciting. I love... Oh, and also today news broke that Hawkman will allegedly appear on both the Arrow or the Flash, or both, before he appears in Legends of Tomorrow, which he'll appear briefly because of Hawk Girl. So, CW, man, keep kicking ass, keep doing what you're doing. I fucking love it. I love how the CW works, you know? Like, they just, God, they kill it. But they're so smart. I don't know. I can't like brag about CW enough because their writers are just brilliant. Allegedly, Constantine may appear in Arrow this season, which would be cool, especially if it's the same dude that was on the Constantine show that got canceled. And I can't even believe nobody picked it up. Like, I feel like that's just a piss poor choice. I maybe feel like the reason that CW didn't pick it up was not because they didn't want the show, but maybe because they're juggling 3 shows right now as it is, and to add a 4th, they might risk really fucking up and having too many shows and really seriously oversaturating the market. So they took a step back from it. I don't know, you know? I love the world we live in right now. Doctor Who's coming soon. You know, we're going to be talking about that in coming months. Like I said, The Flash and Arrow are coming back on. We got The Walking Dead, as Brandon and I were talking about during the SDCC episode. Star Wars this year, folks. We've got Fantastic Four, which it might end up being that my buddy and good listener Tim may actually appear on an episode where we review Fantastic Four with our friend Cody and talk about what we thought about the movie. Maybe we'll all go together. Not on opening weekend, but sometime in the month of August. Especially, that's going to be around the time for sure that Brandon's going to be starting a new journey. And, he's going to need a few weeks. And I keep saying that. And I keep reassuring him that he's always going to be here. He just takes his time. You guys aren't going to miss him. I'm kidding. You're going to totally miss him. What am I saying? You're going to fucking miss Brandon. But the good thing is that while Brandon is doing his thing and taking care of his child and starting that chapter, we can bring on new people, different guests, different dynamics, different team-ups, if you will. Just think of the Journey into Comics family like Marvel and or DC, and anybody who comes on the show instantly is born into that universe, and we can all cross over and tie in with each other at any point in time. It would be killer to do just like an episode with, let's say, Nick or Mike or hell, anybody that's been on the show. Me and them one-on-one would be a different dynamic than if Brandon was in the room, or if Brandon was on Skype, or if they're in the room, and it's just the two of us, whoever the proverbial us is, so I just want Brandon to know from his Journey into Comics family that we're all sincerely just putting positive vibes out for you, brother. And you get to take your time and do what you got to do. And when it's time to come back, there ain't even a question, That's some real shit right now we're talking about on the radio. Or podcast. It's still radio, right? It's internet radio. At least that's how I look at it. It's talk radio, man. So, in closing, what do I want to do? I don't even know. I guess we can talk a little bit about the second chapter. You know what? Let's do it. Chapter 2 of my video game journey, you know? My life in video games, if you will. The next game on my life radar, because really, like I said, RC Pro-Am, a lot of NES stuff there in the early days. I don't remember. I know what one I haven't done yet, but I can't remember which one I did do, because that episode was a while ago, folks, and we have all these like great ideas, and they don't necessarily come to fruition, or we start something and we forget to go back to it. Not that we don't want to finish it, but just no one reminds us, so we don't go back to finish it. So I'm going to talk about another game in my journey of video games, you know, and my video game timeline. God, that was what it was called, man. I couldn't remember the bit. Forgive me, right? So my video game timeline. The game is a Super Nintendo game. The game is called Tin Star, and it's a side scroller. It's a weird side scroller though, because it's a side scroller like point and shoot sort of, except for you're using the controller and the directional pad to decide where to shoot. And it's a futuristic robot western, I guess, game. It's not the greatest game on earth, and it's not like the coolest thing on earth to play or something that you should rush out and try to find for Super Nintendo or anything like that. But for me, that's just a very different time of my life, you know. I'm starting the process of being an only child, essentially, because my sister moves in with my mom when my parents got divorced. And a lot of alone time playing this game Tin Star when I'm younger. And I really, video games, man, like, to close out, we're going to get dark, I guess. The Dark Knight rises, if you will. Video games essentially saved my life. I was probably 9 years old. And at 9 years old, I tried to jump out the window to kill myself, because my parents were going through a divorce, man. And it hit me hard, you know. I didn't know any other life. And I thought that I was to blame, obviously, because you're a kid and you don't fucking know any better, man, or know what love is or isn't. And I know that now in retrospect, but at the time it fucked me up, you know. And video games really brought me back, and they gave me joy, and they gave me something to look forward to doing. I remember countless times of just like wait until I knew for sure Dad was asleep and waking back up, and, you know, turning the TV on real fucking quiet, and hook up the Super and hope I don't have to blow in the cartridge, because if you got to do that, your cover's blown, and then you might as well just get yourself yelled at, so you might as well just not blow on it and go to bed. So I would spend a lot of time by myself playing Super Nintendo, playing games like Mario Kart and Tin Star and Super. What else did I have for Super? Zombies Ate My Neighbors, which fucking, I love that game. I'm still so pissed at myself that I gave that to one of my friends, but what can you do, man? Such is life. I'm a giving soul, and sometimes I just give shit away, because if I don't need it or have any use for it, why should I hold on to it forever, you know? So Tin Star, though, specifically, was just a game that I could get lost in, because it took what I considered almost a stupid amount of skill, because the controls were really wonky. So while the controls were wonky and not very precise, which, I mean, it was Super Nintendo, come on now, how precise are you going to be? If you could figure it out, you could get really good at that game, and it was a lot of fun. I sold it as I sold everything Super Nintendo, again, kicking myself in the nuts for that one. But whatever, what can you do? You can't change it. You just can't. You can't change it. Some things got sold, some things got given away. That's just the facts of life. So I just, that time, the time of the era of the Super Nintendo, when I was just this very small ball of clay, not really sure of who I was as a person, or what I was going to become, or what kind of life, I was gonna live, essentially. I just confided in video games, and we'll talk, I'll continue to try to bring this timeline thing into play more frequently, and we'll get through it, because there are some games on like the Nintendo 64 that have great stories, and moving into PlayStation 2, not necessarily the best games, Xbox One, shit like that, or not Xbox One, fuck, the original Xbox, my fault. But during that time, of confusion and suffering and sadness, all the games that I would play were just this calming, and a place to bring me back to the center, and a place to escape ultimately. And it started to, become kind of a thing that I really enjoyed doing. That and just imagining and envisioning myself being this superhero that I never became. But it's it is what it is. You can't change it. I would say that in all reality, my parents are happy or not together. I know my dad is a very happy person. And he loves life, man. And nothing can take that away from him, and I love that about him. And thanks to my parents splitting up, I got an awesome little sister, Taylor. And I've talked about her before. She's great, in the realest of talks, she's pretty angry at me right now, and she's a kid, so she doesn't really know any better. And I don't say that calling her like naive or anything like that, because I know she's not. She's a very intelligent young lady, but she's just in a position where my mother's side of the family has got her believing a story that is not the story. And those dark things, man, especially when it's family, like there's no other pain than when your actual blood family fucks you over, or betrays you, or lies to you, or disrespects you. We're all humans, on this planet, and we don't choose our family, and that's for damn sure. But you grow up thinking your family's one way, and then when you see them in a completely different light, you understand that they were never the way you envisioned them, and it's a scarring thing to come back from. But then when you in turn are painted as the bad guy, you in turn are painted as the villain, if you will, it's a hard thing to understand, and it's not easy, that's for sure. But man, just life fucks you, at every turn, and it's up to you to be hit with that darkness, or that terrible whatever that happens, or whatever fucking thing you're going through, because everybody's got shit, man. If someone doesn't have shit going wrong with their life, they're not a human, because no one lives a perfect, flawless life. I don't care who you are. Everyone has shit. Everyone. And to me, it's like this. You gotta know that when adversity strikes, and when bad times happen, and they're gonna, quit pretending they're not. Because, like I said, nothing is perfect. And I wish that wasn't the case. I would give my fucking left ball to have the perfect, flawless life, but that's just never going to happen. And accepting that is really difficult. But once you accept it and know that every dark moment or sad moment or twist or turn in your story is just a part of your story, it makes you be you. It gives you the scars that only you are meant for, you know? Things that hurt you may not hurt other people the same. And things that hurt other people might not even affect you, you know? But those scars that are on you and in you, they're meant to become your armor and make you stronger. All the adversity that you go through, every dark fucking moment, every downer, every shit show of a moment, every time you get fucked over by a friend or a family or a boss or an opportunity or anything really, you know, get fucked over by the government or the man or what, you know, whatever it's going to be. You just have to know that you can use that pain as strength and fight through it, because there's more to come. There's always more to come. And when you think it's at the darkest moments, just surround yourself with the lightest people, and your whole perception can change. I truly believe that. And I truly believe that I love podcasting and talking and just speaking my heart, because I don't know, man. We do these shows, and I do them because I want to talk about my knowledge and speak on things that other people are speaking on, and give my take on what I thought of this. You know, people like to know what other people think about things. It's what makes conversation, for fuck's sake. If no one cared about what anybody else thought when it came to things, we'd be a very disconjoined planet, you know? Everyone would go to see a movie and there'd be, did you like it? Well, I'm not going to tell you. Did you like it? Well, it's not none of your goddamn business, you know? And look, there are dark days and there are light days, and just keep your eyes open on the light days and remember the dark days are in your past. And if you're in the dark days, know that you can keep moving forward. There's light somewhere. I truly believe that. And just, man, love unconditionally, and don't hold yourself back from being happy, because the pursuit of happiness is such a funny lie, because happiness lies within. Ultimately, you could buy a million things. I could have every pop vinyl in existence, and I'd be bored. You know, I wouldn't be excited. But as a collector, I enjoy the thrill of the hunt and the thrill of possibility and the thrill of seeing a collection grow and grow and grow and grow, you know. But happiness comes from within. It's not about the toys or the comics or even this podcast. I mean, if I stopped doing this podcast, some people would miss out on listening to this show. It would suck, I know. Am I gonna stop? Hell no. I love this stuff way too much, truthfully, I do. I enjoy podcasting. I enjoy speaking my mind, having an outlet, a place to get it out, you know. You can't hold this stuff in. You can't just sit on how you feel. If you're needing to talk to someone, talk to a friend. If you think you don't have friends and you're listening, you know how to get a hold of the fucking podcast. We've got Facebook, we've got Instagram. You can DM us or whatever. We got Twitter and fucking all the whole nines. You know, we are accessible people, and we'll talk to anybody. You know, anybody that's going through a tough time. Just remember that you're never alone. There are people out there that will talk and that will hear you and that will listen and that can help you get through it, man. Because dark days are temporary, you know. That's all I've got to say. But this has been a fucking dark-ass episode of Journey into Comics. Kind of rambled fest. I'll probably listen back, determine if I like it. Maybe this gets archived as a hidden episode. Maybe I'll record a secondary episode later, and you'll get a twofer this weekend. That was a weird noise. I don't know if y'all heard that, but sounded like popping. But as always, I'm your host, Nate. This was Journey into Comics. Make sure to check us out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, journeyintocomics.podbean.com, and you can check us out on iTunes. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Give us a 5-star rating if you like us. If you don't, tell us to fuck off and give us a 1-star rating, I guess. I don't care. Although positive ratings would be great. It does count towards something, I guess, because it makes us look like we maybe know what we're talking about. Anyways, folks, I'm your host, Nate. Until next time.